What's going on, everybody? It's Ed Saavedra here. So a few weeks ago, when this thing was revealed at Computex, the number being thrown around was $1,500. That was already a lot, but now we have real prices. So the MSI store has it listed at around $1,800. Best Buy and Newegg are showing it at $1,700. So no matter where you buy it, this thing is way more expensive than people were ready for. Now look, I already made a video on the specs. It has the Intel Arc G3 Extreme, 8-inch 120Hz display, 32 gigs of memory, and 1 terabyte of storage with 80 watt-hour battery and Xbox mode. All of that is real and it is impressive, but the specs, I believe, are not the issue here. So the price, I believe, is going to be the problem. So today I just want to break down why this price changes the whole conversation, who this device is actually for now, and the one comparison that should scare everyone watching this whole handheld market. Now here is the part that hits the hardest. The Claw 8 AI Plus from last year was $900, and the new Claw 8 EX AI Plus is $1,700 on the cheap end. That is almost double the price of last year's version in one generation. Now, real quick, guys, if you like this kind of honest hardware breakdowns, do me a favor and hit subscribe. I'm going to keep covering this whole handheld market as the prices keep moving. And in a second, guys, I want to get the comparison that I think actually makes this price hurt the most. So stick around for that. And once you add tax, you are basically getting really close to $1,900 in most places. That is a wild number for a handheld PC, not because the devices look bad, because honestly it does not. This is probably the most interesting MSI handheld yet. Intel Arc G3 Extreme is a chip that I actually want to see tested. The grips look better, the battery is huge, the display has VRR. MSI clearly tried to fix a lot of the complaints from the older Claw models. But at this price, the conversation changes. It stops being about whether this thing actually is cool, because of course it's cool. It just becomes a much harder question, who is this actually for? So here is the comparison that I teased earlier. So the Switch 2 right now is $449.99. So at $1,800, this MSI handheld costs the same as 4 Switch 2s. 4. So let that sink in, guys. You could grab 4 full Switch 2s for the price of this one handheld and still have a couple dollars left for a game, right? Now, the Steam Deck OLED is now $789 for the 512 gig or $949 for the 1 terabyte version. So $1,800 is almost 2 of the most expensive Steam Decks. If you want a real gaming laptop comparison, $1,800 is straight up gaming laptop money. A full laptop with a real GPU, bigger screen, better cooling, more upgrade room. So at this price, MSI is not really talking to that normal handheld buyer anymore. This is for the person who wants the fastest new Intel handheld. They want it first, and they are willing to pay for it. The market exists, but it is not a mass market price. If this had launched at $1,200, the conversation would be totally different. At $1,400, I would still complain, but I could understand the premium. Now at these prices, this is just a different product for a different buyer. Now, the part that I keep coming back to is that handheld PCs were supposed to get cheaper over time, not more expensive, right? The Steam Deck worked because it made PC gaming feel reachable. Now that the market is moving the other way, the Steam Deck OLED prices went up, premium handhelds are creeping into laptop prices, Strix Halo handhelds are pushing past $2,000, and now the Claw 8 EX AI Plus is sitting in that $1,700 to $1,800 zone. The whole category is starting to feel less like play your PC games anywhere and more like how much can you spend chasing the newest chip, right? And that isn't as fun. Now, to be clear, guys, I am not saying that MSI is doing this for no reason, right? Of course, memory, storage, tariffs, AI demand, component costs, all of that is hitting hardware hard right now. But as the buyer, you pretty much have to decide, right? If that final price makes sense to you. Now, for most people, I think that one is a hard no, right? And my honest take on this is this, guys. I still want to see reviews. I want to know what Intel Arc G3 Extreme can actually do in a handheld. I want to see the battery life. I want to see the heat. I want to see the noise, driver stability, frame pacing, etc., right? How well XeSS and frame generation actually feel when you are playing a real game. Because if this thing is a monster, then maybe it earns that price, right? But it has to be a monster. And at $1,800, pretty good isn't enough, right? It can't not just be better than last year's Claw. It has to feel like a real next generation jump. And even then, most people are going to wait. Because at this price, you can't just impulse buy, right? You have to wait for reviews, discounts, and then maybe another company bringing the same chip down to earth. So that's where I land on this, guys. The MSI Claw A EXAI Plus still looks exciting on paper, but the price is starting to steal the whole conversation. And I think that this is the bigger problem right now for the handheld market. So I want to know what you guys think about this, right? Would you actually consider this at $1,700 or $1,800? Or is that just too much for a handheld, no matter how powerful it is? Drop a comment below, guys, and let me know. If you like these kind of handheld hardware updates, do me a favor and hit subscribe. I'm going to keep tracking this launch on June 23rd and also the reviews as they come in. Now, for more handheld and gaming hardware coverage, check out savage.com. I'm Ed Saavedra, guys. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll catch you all in the next one.